This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.
Welcome to another episode of the Grow My Clinic podcast. My name is Ben Lynch, and today we're talking about how you can be more effective with your time. So, we know the story. There's just never enough time to get all the things that need to be done. It's the same story across the board, right? We can't create more time, so we've got to use it better. The challenge is, how do we get that structure? How do we get that structure in our diary? The challenge that I see for most clinic owners is this. During a week, you're able to deal with 27, 37, 58 different problems or challenges. And they come in the form of clients or patients. Not the patients themselves, but rather they come with an issue with their health that they're looking to be resolved with your help and guidance. Now, imagine this. Imagine if all of those people, all 38 of them, rolled into your clinic 9 a.m. on Monday. What? You couldn't do that. That would need a lot of caffeine to get through that day. You don't do that. You don't operate like that, do you? You have appointments. You have a diary, a schedule of appointments throughout your week so that you can tell each person with their respective problem or challenge to come in at that time, because I've allotted a certain amount of time to see you, assess you, provide intervention for you, and help you get better or resolve your problem. Yet when it comes to working on your business, where there might be 38 problems, do you have an appointment schedule with yourself? Quite rarely. Quite rarely do we see that. You might have some sort of allocation of a couple of hours, but you get to those couple of hours and you go, all right, let's see. I've got 38 challenges, problems, tasks to do. Where do I start? And you often do the low-level tasks or get taken away by something else that's pressing, something that pops up. It's a spot fire that you've got to take care of. And you don't really protect that time or use that time very effectively. You see, I know some clinic owners have an entire week. They don't consult at all. They've got the entire week to work on their business. And they don't do much at all. And then I've got some people who've got 4 hours and they absolutely just go hammer and tongs. They're very structured, very outcome driven, and they get a hell of a lot done working on their business. The key is that they've got an appointment structure, much like you do for your patients, they have with working on their business. They're a hell of a lot more effective. Makes sense, doesn't it? So the challenge for you is, number one, how could you increase your capacity to work on your business? And number two, how could you get more out of that time by being more structured, just like you have appointments? Perhaps you have appointments like, okay, for this block of 60 minutes, I'm going to work on client experience stuff. For the next block of 60 minutes, I'm going to work on the marketing side of things. And blah, 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 it continues on. You can set whatever structure it is, but there needs to be some clear boundaries, structures and frameworks really for where does your focus go during that time, because then you're able to achieve more. We had an episode with Andrew Roberts, great business coach and mentor, who said 1 hour of inspired time is greater than 6 hours of uninspired time, or inspired or focused time. You can do a hell of a lot more. So let's start with number one, increasing your capacity. I often do this with clinic owners is, let's actually look at your clinical diary, if you're still consulting, how utilized you are. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I work 60 hours a week. And then we find out they're only consulting for 40. That's an extra 20 hours of miscellaneous time that you could be working on your business. Imagine if we just structured that a little bit better and got that time in your diary. all of a sudden you could go from, hey, I'm working 60 hours a week consulting, got no time to work on my business, to seeing, oh, actually, I'm only utilized 40 or 45 or 50 of those hours. I actually have an entire day, 8 hours or something in my week, but because there's no structure to me accessing that 8 hours, I can't use it effectively. So that would be the first one. Let's take stock. Let's actually audit what you're currently doing, currently working, consulting-wise, and let's look at the utilization compared to those total hours that you're available. And if and where there's a discrepancy, which most likely there is, let's find a way to time block that and cut it out of the diary and go, well, I'm only consulting 52 hours out of the supposed 60. How could I protect that? Let's block that off. And then in the other side of things, how can we be more structured with that time? Well, then let's get specific outcomes and focuses for that allotted time where you can work on different areas of the business and actually move the needle on some of the higher value stuff. Turn off notifications. You've heard that before. Get structured. Don't answer calls or emails. Just do work on the business, creating systems, creating content, working with your team, developing your team. Do the high value stuff. That's what I challenge you to do. Remember, as always, to action a fraction. Implement what you've learned today. Audit your diary. See what hours do exist and better structure those hours. Make an appointment with yourself and structure it like you do for patients, and you will get more done. We'll see you on another episode of the Grow My Clinic podcast.
This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.